Dan Rosinski with the California Earthquake Clearinghouse.
Oh, good morning.
Hey.
Bill Balin, City of Walnut Creek.
Welcome.
Eric Simpson, Cal OES, Southern California.
Oh, great. Good to have you join us today. All right, anybody west of the Mississippi then? Like to say hello? All right, then anybody anywhere who would like to say hello, introduce yourself, and help us build this community.
This is Dan Murray. This is Dan Murray from Mercer Engineering Research Center, part of Mercer University in Macon, Georgia.
Hi, Dan.
I'm Bob Brundage from Kentucky.
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Doing all right.
This is Tim Hutchison from the Maryland Emergency Management Agency.
Good. Nice. Glad you could join us.
Dave Millard, Georgia Tech.
Hi, Dave.
William Miller, Washington.
Yeah. William, good to have you join us.
Paul Reisner, supporting the DHS Science and Technology Directorate.
Hi, Paul.
Jim Branch from Lake County, Ohio.
Oh, we had Lake County, Ohio in there, I heard. And who else?
Doug Pasley from Haystacks Technology in Florida.
Oh, welcome. I believe a first-time caller, so welcome. All right. Anybody else want to say hello?
Pat Kearns online.
Great. Glad you could join us. All right. Well, hopefully over the chat on the WebEx or elsewhere, you'll make the connections that you need, or through me anytime. If you've heard somebody who you would like to get in touch with, just let me know, and I can serve as the broker for it. Today we're going to take a look at XchangeCore and common operating pictures. We're going to take a look at 4 different types of viewers: the ArcGIS Online, the Esri Flex Viewer, Google Earth, Google Maps. They're pretty well representative of all of the common operating picture tools out there. Start out by taking a look at the basics of feeds. Then we're going to go through 8 different scenarios. Observations. How do you build a whole tree of knowledge for an earthquake? From being able to select out of the whole mass of industries all across the country, picking out the status of one business or one critical infrastructure. Then show how you can make some pretty pictures using icons to help clarify the distinctiveness among information that's out there. How you can exchange and pull just the information out from just one organization out of all the ones who might be sharing through the core. Limiting the area of interest geospatially, which is always good. And then creating a sequential playbook using some of the timing elements that are inherent in all of the XchangeCore work products. I haven't made that mistake for a couple of weeks. And finally talk about being able to move it into whatever format you want. And actually one item here that I didn't add to the end, we've got a new tool that was just provided by the state of Florida that allows you to take the usage information and put it directly into an ArcGIS geodatabase, and we'll talk about that towards the end. So that's our path, and first I want to just give you some pictures. Pictures of common operating pictures. Here, the Florida Disaster Organization, the Virtual Business Emergency Operations Center, brings in information, in this case business information, from XchangeCore. You saw this one in a full show that was done during the summer on Capstone 14. Illinois' Virtual Business Emergency Operations Center consumes information from XchangeCore. California Office of Emergency Services, and this status map up on there, this is an ArcGIS Online, brings information together out of XchangeCore. The Northeast Ohio Common Operating Picture pulls together a variety of different sources, including XchangeCore information coming in a number of different ways. The California Earthquake Clearinghouse uses another app drawing on information coming out of XchangeCore to follow information about earthquakes. SABRE, the Single Automated Business Exchange for Reporting, their common operating picture provides information about business outages coming out of XchangeCore. So lots and lots of examples of people who are already doing this, and they're doing this in a very, very quick and easy way. While XchangeCore is designed for a extensive two-way exchange of information that allows you to be able to provide updates back and forth from application to application. While all that is happening, you've got the ability to provide the information that gets you all the information quickly brought out. And if you just look at the XchangeCore logo up in the upper right-hand corner, it illustrates that. Horizontal, back and forth, all the information is being passed from agency to agency, operation to operation, application to application. But then sitting inside of XchangeCore as part of the web service orchestration is the ability to just grab that information at any moment, always the most current information, and pull it out in a one-way direction to the common operating pictures or situational awareness tools. And we've made that very, very easy because you want to be able to have an XchangeCore there that somebody has no increase in cost to what they're doing in order to get that information. By that I say, get a free version of Google Maps, get a free version of Google Earth, get any other free tool that you have, and you can bring this geospatial representation of all the data inside of XchangeCore, both geospatial and non-geospatial data, bring it into XchangeCore and be able to provide it out to your common operating picture. So it all begins with understanding this query. Query being a way that I talk to a computer over the internet. It starts out with a fully qualified domain name. That's what that HTTP thing is that you're always typing in order to go off to a website. That's a domain name, and this first part of it here illustrates one XchangeCore that's out there that's providing the ability to access information in there. Over here, it tells me how do I want to respond to this. Well, the response that I want in this case is going to be an RSS. We'll talk about that in a minute. An RSS, which is a geospatial format. You see over here, KML, those are other geospatial formats. You get to choose among the various geospatial formats that are available from XchangeCore. And down here, you got a couple more pieces. You want to tell, after you give the fully qualified domain name, down here, this pub search question mark is telling XchangeCore what to get ready to do. This can say a number of different things, but this one says, hey, I'm going to ask you to publish some information, and I'm going to give you a search so that I know exactly what it is that I'm going to get out of it. And, as we saw up here, this format's going to be KML. So then I start to say, okay, what's this search want to be? Well, there's a string of stuff that you're going to put over here, and this is really what we're going to focus on. This little ampersand, the and product type, equals incident. That's one of the key elements of what I want to have to be able to bring this information in, and this is telling me that I want a product type incident. I'm going to get my incident information over here. SOI, this is my observation information. I can string those together. So that's the basics of what we're doing is establishing that query. There are several different things that I'm going to define. First of all, it's the format. You just saw that, KML, GeoRSS, XML. All these provide similar or different information depending on how you define it. You can get a summary, a digest of it that comes out, or you can get the full information that comes out here. And this is an example, again, of coming up here, my fully qualified domain name, my instructions to search, my format being XML, and the product type is going to be incident. And here, I want all the information that I have in that. So just a different way of explaining this, and we'll take a look in more detail as we go along. So what I get, the atomic unit of exchange inside of XchangeCore, is products, these product types. And here are examples of 6 different ones that I can get information out: incidents or alerts, observations, committing resources, requesting resources, and my map view context document. And just like we saw before, you put those together. I've got a KML and a product type as incident, and I want to have a product type of observation, and I want to have a product type of alert, and I want to have a product type of map context. Quick note, this string together is not a feature that's currently available on ArcGIS Online. You have to do each one of these individually. But that's part of the process of dealing with the end user applications. How you structure it, you can do it each. You would, in this case, I would do this as 5 separate queries that would go out there to pick up incident, SOI, and alerts, and all the rest of those. Any way that the end user application needs the information, XchangeCore can provide it. So let's take a look. I promised we would see things here, and you'll actually be able to play with some things if you're sitting in front of a computer in a few minutes. We're going to take a look at these work products and how the queries look in Google Earth, Google Maps, and ArcGIS Online. In order to do that, I'm going to move this thing over here and get that stupid view there that has, I'll just slide that over that way. All right, what we want to do is take a look at a couple of things, and we're going to start out with Google Maps, because Google Maps is nice and easy to use in this particular unit, because it's really a test for Google Maps, so we're going to be able to see things better than you can see in some of the other applications. And I've written out some of these URLs here, so you don't have to bother with me typing them as we go along. So first thing I want to do is pick up my Google Maps, and I'm going to use an RSS here, and I'm going to paste it right in here, and this is going to be easy for you to see. So we've got exactly what we talked about before. We've got the fully qualified domain name there. I've got the instructions to go off and do a search, and I'm going to do a product type as incident, and the format is RSS. If I hit that query there, it's going to go off, and what we're looking at here is a bunch of fire and flood data. Fire and flood data that does nice things. A lot of fires that are out here in California, out here in Irwin, or in the valley there. And you got some flood things that are unfolding there where a school is being used as a shelter. And you're going to see a couple of different things. You're going to see that the data comes through, and it's the end user application that does things with it. Here I'm clicking, and what you see is a whole lot of information here in all these funny formats. This is an HTML format, and its intention is that the end user application interprets this and makes it look pretty. We're going to jump over right now to Google Earth and take a look at that exact same query that we had there, this national view of the incidents, and just let you see here, we've got exactly the same thing here. But in this case, it's a KML format, but exactly that same search that we're looking at previously. I come in here, click on that. Let's refresh it just so that we're sure we got all the same information here. And what we've got is this similar types of information that you saw earlier. We've got the flood out there, but let me now just show you a little bit different here. I'm going to pull up one of these. And here instead of that garble of information that you saw on Google Maps, Google Earth knows how to understand HTML coding. So all these things come out as a nice boldface with the information that this is a natural disaster and its latitude and longitude and on its federal property. All the information that's contained in there, the end user application is responsible for making sense of. And this HTML format you're going to see very, very common in lots and lots of different applications that allow us to make sense out of it. Happens that Google Maps doesn't do that in this particular incarnation. And then over here we had that flood information, and we got a bunch of stuff that's unfolding over there. We can take a look at that. Flood in here again, nicely formatted information. Tell me I've got major flooding and being traffic somewhere along the river here. So that same information that we had originally is now moved into two applications, and let's go off and look at a third one. Let's take a look at ArcGIS Online, and you'll see how it works. Here, I've added this view before, and let's take a look at the details on this so that we can I can show you that, in fact, we are talking about exactly the same thing. There's that looking out at that place for that search for those incidents in that format of a KML. And if I now take this and open it up and add it into my map, what I'm going to get, as this goes out and queries that data, is same things that you saw before. And let's pull that up, and there we get them. Here, we've got some of my flood information, and I can click through and see all four of those. I got an emergency plan that's available. I've got that casinos being evacuated, schools being used as a shelter. And you note some of this looks good, and some of it doesn't. This looks good. This one is not picking up all the formatting information, although there are some cases where the ArcGIS Online does pick up the formatting information. So somebody would take a better look at that. But you're getting all the data there. I've got the same things. I got my lungs. I've got my fire types. I've got all the rest of it. So end user application, you're building your COP. You're trying to establish a way in which you're going to be able to best display that information, but it's all the same common data that I'm bringing out. So let's come over here now, and let's go on and create a little bit more. What we've done there is bring together a lot of things. Now, you can play along with this. If you're in front of the computer, go off to XchangeCore.com or XchangeCore.org is really what it should be, but .com is also will get you there. Go up there to the Exchange Geo tab, and then go to Documents and Training, and you'll see this screen. And you can download the same piece of paper or a similar piece of paper to the one that I'm using to pull those URLs off. So if you want to play along, feel free to do so. So now we're going to take a look. First, we just went out there and we got all of the incident work products. Now we want to start doing some things with a little bit more selected detail. Want to be able to put that back over there, go off and look at some of the observations, a different work product that's there. And if we take all those, let's go back there to the whole country. I'm going to turn that one off. And now I'm going to take a combination of incidents and observations. That combination, where do I want to go? There, is done just like what we were talking about. I've got product type and incident and product type and SOI for my observations. And let's see what we get this time. So I'm going to do that, do a quick refresh. It's already refreshing, so that's good. So what I've got, again, this national view of information, I've got, we'll focus over here on the flood. Now instead of just those red triangles, I've got a different kind of icon here. I've got some circle icons. So we've looked in the past at this casino, and we saw this earlier. There's an evacuation going on at the casino. But now I've got some other elements to it because I have somebody observing. This one is telling me that news crew shares photos of that evacuation that's going on. So here I now have a link. And this is now starting to give me, with that one command, it's giving me a set of relationships between incidents, observations, and what's being observed. In this case, we got a picture. of a bus being moved around. Or if we go over here, we got some flood photos, and those flood photos are people walking in the water and helping evacuate folks from there. Or what else do we have? School shelter. Okay, there's one. I've got here's the floor plan of the gym, so that people can begin to say, hey, I'm going to put beds over here, food over there, etc. So you're able to gather up a collection of information that's associated with that incident being made as observations about that incident to draw more information and make more information available. Really critical ability. And again, that's from a single line that says, that's all I want. I want to see my KML thing. I've got incidents. I've got my observations. And that's my task for right now. I'm able to pull all that information together. So, moving along, let's now look at, pop back over here, and take a look at how do we get sets of work products. You saw two different commands that said bring those two different whole products. But now how do I group these? Where's my tree of knowledge coming from? Or how do I get a single work product? Down here, I can go in and I can ask for this specific work product by having this product ID. Or over here, the specific incident work product. You'll see examples that represent that because I want to focus on this one. Because this is an interest group. All of the work products associated with an incident become part of this interest group. So this is IG number that sits in there. And that associates across all the different kinds of data, whether it is resource information or shelter information or sensor information, any of the products of that tree of knowledge that we've all talked about in the past can be accumulated for a single incident just by making one call to the data. And we're going to take a look at that now. We're going to take a look at getting a tree of knowledge in ArcGIS Online and in Google Earth. And down here, right-hand corner, there's that tree of knowledge. Just by putting this one IG number in, I'm going to have it say, okay, I got the incident, and what else among all of these other components are now available to me right inside of XchangeCore, and what can I do with it? So let's start out with the ArcGIS Online. And what we have here, I actually put this one in place before, but let's take a look at it. I had to go back here. Go back to my content and take a look at what it is. It's the Napa Tree of Knowledge. And this is actually information that came out of the Napa earthquake. And what I want to do is view that. And here you're going to see that we still have that format KML. That's going to tell us how we want to get the information. Look over here. There's my interest group ID. Interest group ID is available. We can talk about how you find that. But by and large, you're going to be able to pull that interest group ID out just by copy and pasting it and put it into that string and then open that. Sure, we'll add that layer, I guess. And let me turn off that National View of Incidents, and let's focus in here into this Napa earthquake area. And again, each application, each end-user application does things a little bit differently. Here, let's come in here. These are a lot of different observations of things that have happened. And this is a lifeline, and there's near the epicenter. It's partially functional transportation. Over here, I've got some other things about some liquefaction. And buried back under here, I actually have the incident that was associated with that to bring together all these different information from the California Earthquake Clearinghouse. And I think this was the one, yeah. All right, let's just come in, again, different ways of doing things in different applications. If I come over there and I go to that, I got something funny on that, sorry. Yeah, see, I got my notes hooked in there, sorry about that. I'm trying to, there we go. Go to that one, and now I've got a picture of the boatyard that's in that particular location so that people can determine whether they've got some problems associated with that boatyard. Again, just an illustration. So I'm building that information, and this was all done by saying, hey, I want to know about that incident. And this is pulled together pictures, it's pulled together reports, it's pulled together building observation, and here you go. This one is nicely formatted. You notice this one, for some reason, that other one, the HTML may have been a little bit off, but boom, you've got that nicely formatted information that's come in from the last surviving stone winery in Napa. So all that information is now available as a result of going after that one query. Have the same thing, we'll put that one down. Have the same thing over here in Google Earth. Turn that off, our schools off, and what I want to do is bring my Napa tree of knowledge, and let's refresh that. And what I've got, I come back out here to California. Oop. I can get dizzy sometimes. We've got this set of information. Same things that you saw, same common operational data, but dealt with a little bit differently here. Here, I can come over there, pick out some of those, still going to get the information. There's a scarp that took place, and there's some other stuff that's unfolding there, lots of buildings in that particular area. If we were to zoom in there, you're going to be able to see those icons distribute themselves very nicely. But where I want to go with this is to show you over here that there were 97 results that came in, and you have the incident that we saw over there. You have all these different SOIs, these observations that are taking place. If I come in here and take a look at this one, here we go, I believe. You got the same picture. So just, again, proof of concept that I pulled all the different information out of this tree of knowledge over here, but with one more element that does not appear currently in ArcGIS Online, but it's native to what, what Google Earth does, and that's to take a look at this map view context. Those of you who have been with us in previous calls, map view context is an open geospatial consortium standard for sharing information about geospatial layers. That goes into XchangeCore from a number of different places and comes out in a number of different ways, all depending on that application again. Here we see we've got this Napa field test, field observations here, and this is telling me that this is something that came out of, actually this is part of the NASA model, and I've got this link here. If I hit that, what it's going to do is integrate another layer of information, this model results that are showing future aftershock potential information, I believe, or something else. Don't hold me to what the model actually is. But I've now taken that model that was integrated because it came to us as part of this map context document, and all the other layers that have come from other geospatial systems, I'm able to deliver into the single location, all of which are retrieved by asking for this single incident, thus building that tree of knowledge. So, while I'm jumping over here, anybody with any questions? So another way of looking at it is grabbing the interest group and pulling up all the interest group information. Now we want to continue to focus, narrow the information. And that's being done by the what. field. What tells me out of the UCOR Digest format, and UCOR is now evolving into NEAM, as you see down here. We use the National Information Exchange model for a lot of our work. The what, I can say what it is that I want to get out of all those incidents that are out there. I can say what, or incidents or anything else, what I want to get out of there. So if you look at this, I've got my standard stuff at the beginning. I've got my product type over here as incident, and then circled there, what equals flood. Flood %20 event. In HTML speak, you need to have the %20 because nobody interprets a blank space. Everything stops at a blank space. %20 is the code for a blank space. So if you have a blank space in the query you want to do, you need to put a %20. If you don't have to worry about that. So let's take a look at using the what to get what you want. We're going to start off in this case and switch to a different scenario. Here we have a whole bunch of, let's get rid of this. Let's close that. Turn that off, close that. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of things that are going on out there. And what I want to do is take a look at them. And we'll refresh that. This is a view. We're going now to private sector information. And what I have over here, and we've used this data before, you see that it's Walgreens and it's Macy's and it's Target and a whole bunch of people that comes out of data that comes out of the Sabre data. And all of that looks like, and I'm just going to push this point to make sure that you're all following it, that looks like different location, this host 2 over here, which is the one that hosts Sabre data, but it's getting a product type of incident and delivering it in a KML format. You've seen that before. That's the basic start of the structure. So let's take that off now, and let's go off here and take a look. And what this says is, I just want to see target. So by clicking on that, what I get are the targets that happen to be here. 4 targets closed during that particular problem. Information coming out of target. Again, now nicely formatted, store details, all the rest of it. So I have eliminated all of the other elements of thousands of stores that are reported because I'm only interested in target. And I do that with a query that looks like that. My what equals target. Very simple process. Everything else is the same. I'm just going to say I want all the instance and my what equals target. Pretty simple task that needs to be performed. And let's go on, because we want to start to make this a little bit prettier. We can build icons. You can grab icons off of the internet. We'll take a look at how we can do some of those. And a URL, in this case, you've got all the same things. I got my format, I got my product type, my what is going to be Walgreens. And the instant icon is now going to go out and look somewhere on the internet to pull up an icon. Here we've got a .png formatted icon for Walgreens that's stuck over here someplace out on the internet. Let's take a look at how you do that. So look at, we get specific responses now. Incidents, what, icons, to be able to display those out for everybody. So let's take a look first of all and come over here and let's get rid of all those. Come back here a little bit. And what I want to do is come out here. I've got this target icon, and let's just take a quick look at that. Exactly everything that you saw up to there, incident, and now you got target, you got an incident icon is going over here to this map markers location to get a target icon. So by hitting that one, The same target stores that before looked like a bunch of little squiggly things on there now have the little target logo there. Same information underlying it, but I'm now starting to build a better picture of what it is that I have for my common operating picture. And let's, over here, you notice we got Macy's, and if I open that up, we see that we've got a bunch of different Macy's, 5, 6 of them that are over there. If we click on that, we're going to add the Macy's. We got a couple of them up here in Connecticut and Massachusetts, some down there in all the way down into Augusta, Georgia. So Macy's sitting there. And again, nicely formatted, different set of details coming out of the Sabre data. But here we know we've got this one closed, Macy's closed in that location. Add another one, Walgreens. Now we got a bunch of Walgreens sitting out there. Nice bold logos. Pick the one in Roanoke, Virginia. It happens to be a 24-hour with no retail clinic in it. Whatever information Walgreens wishes to share out through Sabre, it's all now abundantly available. Last one I'll do is Walmart, although it's possible you won't see any Walmart because it's real. It's live. And no, that's not it. Nope, don't see any of them. There aren't any Walmarts closed today, so feel free to go shopping when the call is over. So all that information is available to you as part of being able to display the information on your application that is able to see the information that exists there. So, took a look at that one. Now, what I'd like to do is take a minute here and talk to you. Well, one up there. You can look at it. We won't spend any time on this, but a couple different sources, the symbol store and this HTML for Earth icons locations, lots and lots of different icons that are out there you can build. Last one is, I was experimenting based on an article that is noted down there on the left-hand side on using Dropbox to make the icons accessible. Seems to be a little bit hit or miss, so I'm still experimenting with that, so I won't show you anything on that one. But if you have your own ability to serve up information off of your company or organization server, that's where you would put the icons. But I wanted to see whether we could pick up something where anybody can go. And if I can get this working, we will end up having a XchangeCore Dropbox where people can put a community of icons in there. So that's one of the things that we wanted to do or wanted to show you about. All right, going to focus a little bit more now. I've got a whole bunch of people out there who are providing information into an XchangeCore, particularly with XchangeCore 2.0. Now, with the concept of virtual cores, you can get out to lots and lots of extended people, regional cores. But I only care about one. I'm sitting here, I'm a police department, I only care when there's a fire. So I don't want to see information that's coming in from the state or coming in from neighboring jurisdictions or anybody else. Specific use. Yeah, there we go. I want to only get the information from my EOC or my local police department. Or as we're going to see here in a minute, I'm just going to be following a single organization. I want it to show up in one location only. So what I've got is built over here. And let's turn off these guys. So we got a nice blank view. And what I have over here, since we have, again, this is live data, so hopefully we see something. But what we have is XchangeCore, and we've got Richmond Police Department, and they are the ones who are providing this information. So let's go off and take a look and see whether we've got something coming in from Richmond. Oh, a couple pieces. We've got, where are these guys? It needs to tell me how to turn off my latitude and longitude there. There's my Chamberlain Avenue, there's an assist the fire department, traffic and or crowd control, and that is 20 minutes ago. That's still an ongoing incident. Over there, I got another one on West Franklin Street or North 20th Street there. That one came in a little bit, a couple hours ago, personal injury information. So, on this core, all the things that you've been seeing, if I come back here to say all those incidents there, I'm going to see lots and lots of things. I see all those Walgreens, all those other things, because they're all sharing the same core. But when I come in here and look only at the Richmond incidents, I'm only getting those couple of accidents that are part of, sorry, this is acting weird, but all those accidents, those couple of accidents that we saw there on North 20th Street and over there on Forest Hill Road. So by doing that, created by the Richmond Police, input from their dispatch system into the XchangeCore, you're only limiting yourself to getting that kind of information. So one more way to cut the data. All right, now we're going to take a look at the fun one, at least one that I enjoy more than most, and that is going to be the bounding box. A bounding box says, okay, I can build all those other things. I can say a what, and I can say a who, and incidents, and subject matter, and other things, but really, when it comes down to it, I only care about what I can do. If it's not my area of interest, maybe I don't even want to pay any attention to it. So I can build a bounding box that has lower left and upper right quadrants, latitude and longitude, and it simply says to all these other things, and KML, and incident, and BBox equals latitude, longitude of one point, latitude, longitude of the other point. So let's take a look at that. And we're going to do this in both Google Earth and Google Maps. And I'm going to take you back to Google Maps so that you can see that, see how we built that up there in that little viewer component. So I wish I could, well, we'll skip that for now. So what I've got here, a week or so ago, we were involved in all right, I won't try. Apologize for all these latitude and longitude lines. Somebody knows Google Earth and can tell me how to get rid of it, let me know. But what we had before, we were dealing with a number of different items that were in the version 2.0 core, which is what we're looking at now. Here we had some Ebola suspected there, and I think if we go down to there were some truck accidents, and then someplace else, yeah, there was another Ebola tracking that was taking place down there. So, I've got a variety of different items that are there, but I only care about the Middle Atlantic states. So what I have over here is this bounding box that I've built, and this bounding box then has this latitude and longitude that represents the area that I'm concerned about. Everything else is the same. I can put icons on it. I can put incidents on it. I'm putting everything that I want to have on it. Not a problem. And all I have to do, let's turn them all off. Let's hit a bounding box, and Middle Atlantic states is what I was concerned about. There's my Ebola in the Middle Atlantic states, and it has come in from a number of different places, or it has come in from one specific place, and there's the patient under surveillance there. Everything else that was sitting up there, in there, something's still turned on up there. I've only got one. If I come back here, add them all, you see them all. Get rid of them, you see them, you don't see them. So I did all that by building a bounding box. Now, let's play around a little bit more because bounding boxes are very important. This one is taking a look at incidents, and here's the bounding box associated with it. And this one, again, is Middle Atlantic states. But I'm now looking at a different place. What I'm looking at are just those store outages that we've been looking at before in the Middle Atlantic states. And now I got my Maryland ones here. I got my New Jersey up here in Pennsylvania. Sort of picture that bounding box, as you saw that there were a lot of those. No Macy's up in Vermont or New Hampshire or any place else. Able to structure that, make it work, and deliver narrowed down information. I want to just do one last one where we've got a look over here, and this is where we were focusing on all these guys out here that were all those fires. We looked at them earlier. You remember those. But I'm in charge of just the Northern California Fire District. So I'm going to turn those off, come back in here, and bring up just the Northern California fires. Put them all back on, take them all back off. So I can begin to build a pretty nice look at the information that I need by geographic area. Any questions at that point? All right, look at one more piece because this has a nice ability. I think our scenario for this one was to do a sequence of time periods. And I can build a query that says, okay, I don't want to get any information unless it started at this point, or I don't want to get any information that ended at this point, so basically getting rid of earlier things and only getting the things later, or starting things at a certain point. And this allows you to sort of do a playback of the event. Build a set of these queries and say, okay, this is the first day. Here's the second day. Here's the third day. Here's the fourth day. Very nice ability to set up that type of a sequence. And just take one quick look at this. Actually, I had promised you bounding box in Google Earth so that you could take a look at that. So yeah, before we get to that one, let me come on down here, pull out bounding box, and where's my Google Maps one? Yeah, because this we're going to do in a RSS feed. Let's pull this out. And it's the same Northern California fires that we were just looking at, so we've got them up here. And my Google Maps is over here, so I'm going to stick this in here. Stick that in there. You know, we've got our bounding box there, formats RSS, and if I go off and search for that, I'm going to come back and we're going to take a slightly different look at it because now there's all that information that we saw before, but in Google Maps. So just wanted you to be able to see that. And heck, if I come in here and change this to, let's see, what do I want to do? Why don't we do this to 40? Just to show you it's dynamic. You're going to lose some of these guys here across the bottom as that loads up. So the idea being that we lost this cluster down here, that you can pretty dynamically figure out where you are concerned and be able to deliver information out to your common operating picture to be able to get that information exactly what you want. All right, now let's take a look at the temporal process. This one, let me turn that one off. Coming in here, make sure you take a look at it. I've got my time is created after yesterday at 14:39, and we're looking at some of that. We're back on the Sabre data and the Richmond data. So I'm going to take a look at that, and what I have is anything that's come off of from the Sabre that was submitted after yesterday afternoon, and here you're going to see sorry, these are so difficult to see, but there I've got a Macy's, and if I pull that up there's Macy's, and it was submitted at 1440 yesterday. And so I'm seeing everything from there. I thought, yeah, there is one more up there. Again, that one was submitted at the same time that report came in. We go down here to Richmond. There's a Richmond. And there's a couple, we got a few different things that are going on there now. And those we'll see were submitted at 11:27. So all of them are now more recent. So everything that's been happening, that's today. All those things that have been happening today are out there. And we actually just had a couple of additional accidents occur in Richmond over the last few minutes while we've been talking. So what we've got then in that illustration is the ability to use time as a factor in putting together the information and getting you exactly what you need. Now I want to pass it off. We got a few minutes left. Pass it off to Lake County GIS, and I will do that by coming up here and finding you, Jim, on here on my participants, and Jim Brett.
Do you
There
want
we
me to
go.
pass it?
Yep, I got it. Jim, making you the presenter.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
That work?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't look like winter in Cleveland to me.
Oh, you know what? I'm sharing the wrong screen here. Let me move this over.
All right, what Jim has is the Northeast Ohio Common Operating Picture. It's developed for a cluster of counties out there in the Fusion Center. And asked Jim to show, because one more Common Operating Picture format, he's using a Flex Viewer, and asked him to focus on integration of both KML and GeoRSS. So Jim, take it away.
Okay, what we did in one sense here is for the feeds, for the GeoRSS, we added a widget here. Actually, it's a basic widget that comes with the COP, and is pointed at the an XCore feed here. So you see when we click on that, it brings up the different feeds here. And as Jim was saying, sometimes the format doesn't come through, but if we click on one of these, and it'll zoom us right to it. And actually in this window, it does a little better job here of reading the HTML and forming that for us that way. It even gives us a link to the actual original document there. So that's one way we've implemented this, and then we have a couple different widgets looking at a couple different services here. And then over here in the map contents, we had another way that we implemented this. We actually have in our configuration file looking at the KMLs directly. So if we zoom out here, let me go ahead and close this and zoom out. I have this one on here for all of them. We'll zoom out to the national scale, and we'll start seeing some of these pop up. So then you can see here, basically I have that layer on. If we click on any one of these, once again in this window, it tries to format it here, but then we can see different information that's been submitted with that. And actually, as Jim was saying, I wanted to show too, for anybody who's dealt with a Flex Viewer, in the background, here's the configuration file for the GRSS widget, and basically you can see here where we've put in that query string that Jim has been talking about with the format of the RSS and the type of product type we want there. And then also for the KML files, the main configuration file for the viewer itself, under operational layers, you can just enter, the layer, and the type here is KML, obviously, and then once again, you can see almost exactly what Jim's been showing in terms of the query string, the product type, and actually showing, and here's that what statement in there for target and the icon that's going to be used. So that's how we get to bring those layers over here that you see in the table of contents. So with that, unless Jim wants me to show something else, I'll hand it back over to him.
No, that's terrific. Exactly where we wanted to go. Those of you who want to dig down into documents, Jim's a great resource and has put this together very, very nicely. So I appreciate you giving us a look, Jim.
No problem.
And, Daphne, if you could pass it back to me, and we'll wrap up. While that's happening, want to mention the, coming back to me, mention one of the next things that we want to talk about, and that is the ability to take this information and put it directly into an ArcGIS geodatabase. And if I share my desktop now, you'll be able to see that. And one of the things that this group is all about now, being a community. And Richard Buckerwright down in Florida Division of Emergency Management, GIS manager down there, whiz with ArcGIS, takes XchangeCore data out, puts it directly into the geodatabase for ArcGIS. Really great tool. Eliminates the use of the feed query kind of thing. This goes in there and does all that for you. And that's going to soon be available up on the XchangeCore GitHub. Left Richard's information up there if you wanted to talk to him about it, but that'll also be on the GitHub when that gets released very shortly. And we'll have a notice in the usage and the XchangeCore update about that. Last point, all this is explained. The XchangeCore tech note on query parameters, and you get that going to XchangeCore.com or .org, and go to the XchangeCore tab, and under Documents and Training, you'll see the query parameter tool. And then finally, in summary, this was part one of our look at GIS. And in summary, this was feeding the common operating picture. It is, looking at the logo up here, just a one-way flow. So it's the easy part. It gets you information. You don't interact with it very much, but I think we showed that using a variety of different feeds in KML and GRSS or XML, building through the query parameters, that you can take that data and move it into your COP pretty efficiently. Next session is looking ahead, is going to be integrating, not just feeding, but integrating geospatial and non-geospatial information. And for that, we're going to be focusing in a real training session on the XchangeCore connector for ArcGIS online. How to use it, how to connect, how to move web maps back and forth to share them out through XchangeCore, how to move layers of data, how to select features, how to take things out of XchangeCore and move it into my content, and then how you use those use those ArcGIS features to be able to create incidents in usage. You have a school that is having a problem, and you want to share that information. Well, you don't have to sit down and retype school. You can directly say, here's the information I have in my GIS about that school or about that dam or any other part of your infrastructure, and insert it, make it an XchangeCore incident that gets shared then back to all the geospatial and non-geospatial applications. So we're going to be playing with that next time, and I hope some of you downloaded the document that contained the instructions to this session and were able to play along on your own tool. If not, go in to the website and do that afterwards. And next time we'll be doing the same thing. We're actually going to have a couple of trainees who are going to be interacting and following the instructions, and you'll be able to hear them, and they'll be asking the primary questions. But any of you who have ArcGIS Online can grab the tool and play along as well. So with that, let me stop. We're a minute or two past our normal stop time, but let me see whether there are any questions, comments. The microphone is open.
Hey, Jim, this is Dan Eagles from the Office of Infrastructure Protection. I was able to join, and I appreciate this is actually my first time. And I don't want to take up too much time here, but I'm really excited to hear a lot of what's going on. And we also hope to utilize the tool to convert everything into some ArcGIS out of Florida as well. So just really looking forward to some of the work that's going on, and thank you for the invite.
Sure thing, Dan. Glad you could join us. We'll talk soon. Anybody else with anything?
Jim, this is Bill out in California. You can both query them and also aggregate them to those essential elements of information that we
there have been many attempts at creating a taxonomy and symbology are the two bugaboos that exist out there. One of the things that we've discovered inside of XchangeCore, we actually had a couple of very good sessions about a year ago on a resource taxonomy and the ability to actually use XchangeCore to be the tool that mapped from somebody's taxi cab to somebody else's limousine phrase. So it's absolutely critical. You picked up on that very nicely, and it's something that a subcommittee of the XchangeCore community, as well as other groups, ought to be taking a look at to see whether we can't move that ahead as we're now starting to do some very, very important information sharing. So, good point. Other questions? Yes.
This is Eric Simpson, Cal OES of Southern California.
Yes.
My question is that with all those variables in these various queries that you're building, is XchangeCore or any of its partners looking at building something like a web form or a toolbox where you can put together these queries without necessarily having to manually write them in this format?
From the XchangeCore side, no, because we're the data piece. From the application side, we've got a couple of conversations going on with some of the big GIS providers about doing a better job of being able to, with a drop-down, say, hey, this is what I want to have, and bring that information in. One advantage you have, though, is you're only writing it once. You'll never, ever have to do it again. And I think the one thing that XchangeCore could potentially do would be to gather up people's queries, publish them so somebody can say, okay, all you have to do is substitute your XchangeCore fully qualified domain name, and this one goes out and gets all the supermarkets in town, or this one goes out and gets forest fires that are taking place. I hadn't really thought of that before, but in answering your question, I think we could perform a little service in that regard and publish the results up there. So, good thought. Other questions, comments?
Hey, Jim, this is Dan Murray from Mercer Engineering Research Center. We had arranged to talk on the phone after this meeting. I just wanted to reconfirm with you on that.
Yes, if you give me 5 minutes, we'll have a good conversation.
Okay, great, thanks.
And not hearing anything else, any parting comments from anyone? Then let me thank you all for joining in. Appreciate it. Have a good couple of weeks. And next time around, be prepared to play along with your ArcGIS online. Lots of people playing and learning. Bye, everybody.